Millie Meligard is a stiff, a kangaroo-like animal from an unknown world. She stands 10 feet tall. She has magenta hair, long and straight. She dresses in a pink bodysuit with military patches on it. Millie leads Tail to her room as Blake is getting ready to leave for his mission. Millie's room is barely adequate for someone of her size and shape. Millie needs to crouch and walk sideways to slip under the door into her place. The bed is only half her body's length, and the room is only twice as wide as she is tall. There is a basketball hoop on one side of the room, nailed to the wall under the bed. There is a trunk under the bed containing some treasures of the kangaroos. A radio on the nightstand and a TV hangs from the ceiling. As the kangaroo walks by, she turns the TV on. A music video is playing. I'm a space traveler on the lonely planet Earth. I traveled the universe, flowed into the unknown. I turn the key, I flip the switch, I feel the roar. I fly to the edge of the cosmos, let it roar. Flames light the sky, still the roar. The closer to you I get, the further I am. I want to scream, I need to scream. I feel the roar. I am the roar. Let me roar. Tell looks up at the video. What is this? Daughters of Odin. They're singers of Banshee. I helped her fill out the papers when she moved to Earth. Millie digs around in her trunk, pulling out some band shirts. She hands them off to Tail. I have Fear Factory, KMFDM, Black Sabbath, Alice Cooper. Tail takes off her shirt and tries the Fear Factory shirt on. Amazing, you and I have the same shape. Tail notices a marking on the back of Millie's hand. What is that? My branding mark. I'm property of the Von Richtens. Tail looks surprised and even appalled. You are property? Millie nods. Freaks don't have rights. You're property too. They just haven't burned you yet. Tail snarls, and you're okay with this? Millie nods. Yes. And you will be too. You will do what the Von Richtens say, or your life is going to get very complicated. Millie flops down on her bed. Almost a third of people working in this building are here for life. Millie finds a basketball on the ground near her bed. She scoops her tail under it, then rolls it up into her hand. Millie can reach clean across the room. So as a game, she lays on the ground and throws baskets from there. You want my advice? Make friends with Joe. He'll protect you from the worst of things, if he likes you. Joe Dove uses his cane to punch open the door to the library. He walks briskly. He is a man with a purpose. Joe yells to Amaranth as he walks with great haste. Unlock the archives, fire up the microfilm reader, bring me every folder from every watcher that has been in Clocko Tower in the last 20 years. Joe is mad. Amaranth can see it. The young Fakin steps down from the librarian's booth and races ahead to get to work. Is there anything in particular you're looking for? Springfield asks. Joe acts as if he didn't hear as he starts thumbing over the spines of books, searching them. Do we have eyes on Marks Carrington right now? Amaranth thinks. I don't recall that name coming up in the last few months. Amaranth starts to lay out sleeves of film for Joe to look over. Hunter Cyrus was the last person we had follow him. Joe looks over. Sato. Is he still on active duty? Springfield lowers his head. Killed in action. Joe sits down with the microscope. He starts looking over the microfilms. Section taken from the Watcher's Journal of Agent Sato Cyrus, 072999. I've been shadowing Dr. Carrington for over a year. I am always amused by the complexity of his character. Day and night, I watch him lounge in his office chair. one hand folded under his chest, one hand draped across his face. His lips wrap around one finger. It seems he's relaxing, but never at rest. Whenever reporters show up to talk to Marks about his latest projects, this rock star scientist is working on. He has a loving wife and talks about his amazing child to exploit this. But as soon as the cameras are off and the microphones pulled away, Aiko vanishes into the depths of the tower, not to be seen again for days. Marks only ever shows any affection for his lab assistant, Alan. A good doctor seldom wants to dine alongside the technicians and researchers, choosing instead to sit in a dark room, only the glow of a TV offering light and warmth. A stage performance of Swan Lake plays on his laptop. I listen in as he talks to his cat about how lonely he is, and cries as he whispers the names of people he must have known in a past life. But as soon as an alarm sounds anywhere in the tower for any function, the secluded doctor jumps to his feet and runs at the danger. When spoken to in a crowd, the doctor puts on a mask of a social butterfly, floating about, speaking to hundreds of people an hour. Never does he stop moving. He holds a glass in both hands, but never have I seen him finish even a single drink. A casual dissidence stains his face. He is a warrior working in a garden. The speed at which he moves place to place, the energy he demonstrates with every action, the things he knows, one would be forgiven for assuming he is a time traveler. Marks Carrington seems to live a split second outside of time. 2 days ago, he had only just clocked in. I imagine he had barely made his way back to his apartment before he runs back into the office in the nude, hugging his cat as he dashes up the steps like a man possessed. In the disguise of a fellow researcher, I had trapped him in an elevator to try to get a few moments of his time, to get a first-hand account of what he is doing, and try to understand his strange behaviors. I am acting as Jon Snow, a contractor that floats departments. Everyone accepts me as being just another nameless suit walking the halls. But not Marks. He knows better. Marks takes me by the hand and twists my arm, making me lean over backwards. He looks at my tattoo, satisfied, as he grins at me like a cat. Mark's eyes, a soul-searing orange. Marks leans into me. He whispers in my ear a name. Not my pen name, my name. I am so filled with fear, I think I'm going to die of fright. But then he lets me go. We talk. Marks wanted to share a dream with me. He tells me about the most potent image he had ever experienced. In his vision, he tells me he is a great old man. His skin is turning to ash as he walks. Marks grips onto the fire escape of a tower. He starts to climb. With labored breaths, he pulls himself hand over fist to the highest point of the tower. He looks up to a radio. He knows he needs to keep climbing. A plasma storm boils in the clouds. As the doctor reaches the top of the radio tower, he sees a lightning rod. He grabs it tight and shimmies with the last of his might to the top. Balancing precariously on the head of the pin, Marx in the shape of a child stands. The aging doctor laboriously reaches into his coat and pulls a book from a hidden pocket. He hands it to the younger self. And with that last action, the old doctor loses his grip and falls into the darkness. Black wings sprout from his back, and in a loving embrace, he is consumed by the gloom feathers of a blackbird. The last thing he would ever see is his younger self growing white wings. The doctor is Odette and Odile. What strange symbolism. A strange howl shatters the air. I jump and instinctually reach for my sidearm. Marx is unshaken. He asks me, "Would you like to meet Tara?" Marx refers to his daughter by name, something remarkably infrequent, as he prefers the phrase, "my daughter" or "my child." In spite of my better judgment, I nod. Marx types a code into a keyboard on the elevator. We start to drop into the lowest levels. Marx tucks his hands behind his back as he watches the door. "So, Watcher, when you go to record your records, there is something I would like you to add on my behalf," he starts to state. I still don't understand how Marx knew anything of us. You may ask how I know the things I know. I have drunk the blood of dragons. I have touched the ethereal plane. To me, this all makes too much sense. But how? You and I, we are watchers. We spend our lives staring into shadows looking for monsters. How did this man come across such things? He continues. My daughter was born with a genetic disorder. I had tried treating her with every form of medicine available to man. With my options running out, I have done the unthinkable. I've reached across the veil. I have stolen fire and metal from the gods. I have become Prometheus. I should have known it then, what I was going to see when the elevator stopped. It was going to be something truly horrible. Marx leads us across the hall, in a hidden laboratory, locked in a room. A beast lays on a slab. A part reptilian monster, part bird, part human. 4 men stand with heavy firearms watching the door. Marx places a hand on the glass, looking into the room. He rests his head and lowers his eyes. Tara, he whispers. The beast lifts its head. It can hear him. Someone nearby starts shouting. I hear the breaking of glass. I look left. I feel myself struck. Section taken from an unsigned letter delivered alongside Sato's book. To the Honorable Overseers of the Watchers, I should like you to know that Sato Cyrus was an excellent representative of your organization and your will. He fought honorably on his last day. Tara had escaped her bounds. A half-dozen of my men died at her hands. Sato stood alongside the Blackhawks under the employment of Qualco International. It seems even a lowly pickpocket, faced with an unmistakable mirror of mortality, may find himself succumbing to the bitter angels of our nature. Sato's name and face will find a place on our wall of memories, as any who trade their lives for the lives of others should. I should like to ask, on the behalf of one who will not have this opportunity himself to do so, respect the wishes of the dead. I return this book to you. Now return his ashes to Giza. Note by archivist Anne Springfield. A dozen pages are missing from this article. As best as I can extrapolate, there are 32 hours between this and the previous entry in Richard Blake's diary. I will leave this notation here as a bookmark while I am attempting to track down the missing pages from Blake's journal. Update 9/15/01. I, Emery Springfield, have collected notebooks from all the hunters in this block. AA, B, C, E, S, U. I have been able to construct a timeline that seems to fill the pages missing in chronological order. After departing from Wright von Richten's office, Blake had found his way to the utility depot. He had paid for a new overcoat and picked up a gun case. He then met up with Angel's Charlotte Davis. Davis described his mannerisms as charming. As reported by Agent Marin Dufresne, Dufresne, on the other hand, called him grabby. Next, Blake had gone to the detention center alongside Agent Dove, who, according to Agent Alan Frog, he had met in the library. Blake had spoken to von Richten and paid Tails bail. Joe Dove had signed off on Tails' release conditionally. As the origin of Tail Vixen was still under investigation, Tail would not be allowed to leave the Watcher's compound, but she could stay on as a guest. Agent Malagard had then taken Tail and Blake to the studio that would act as their dormitory until further notice. According to the notes by Agent Edgar Frog, he, at that time, had escorted Blake to the Commission's office. Blake had there been handed the chronicles that contained his first commission. As an office member of the Holy Order of the Von Richten's Watcher Society, Wright von Richten had offered an escort to Blake to the Lamia's back. Blake's first job as a Watcher is a hunt. There is still a noticeable gap in the timeline, but this satisfies our minimum requirements to submit the journal for archiving. Page taken from the Hunter's Journal of Richard Blake. Where the hell am I? I rub my face. I'm laying face down in the dirt. I climb to my feet and notice that my clothes have changed. I'm in a sports coat and slacks. This stuff isn't mine. I look at my watch. September 11th, 2001. I've been out for 7 days. This makes no sense. I feel my face. Must have shaved today. My gut hurts, so I think I haven't eaten lately. My arm hurts also. I strip out of my coat. My arm has a bandage wrapped around it. I tear it off to reveal a tattoo. A W. There's a fresh scab on my neck and a briefcase at my feet. I open the case and see guns inside. .30-06, I think. My brother knew more about guns than I do, but I know how to fire it. Looks like bolt action. There's a map. There are all sorts of scribbles on it. Red lines, circles, X, an address, County Road, UU, 1006, Nauvoo, 5557. I must be in Missouri. There's a stack of photos as well. No one I know. And an envelope. It contains instructions. Kill anyone tainted, it explains. To be brief. I hear a ringing coming from one of my pockets. I must have 20 of them on this thing. In the inner breast pocket, I found a phone and a picture of a red-headed fox dressed in blue jeans and a shirt that reads Fear Factory. The picture is captioned, "My name is Tail." Across the bottom, she looks sweet. Pick up the phone. Who is this? Blake? A young, excitable girl's voice comes across the line. This is your operator. That isn't the voice I hear. Not the first sound. At first I hear Chris. That's bullshit. It takes a few seconds for my head to clear, for my mind to focus. I start to remember things. Yeah, well, we will be too if you bungle this up. I look at the photo as she speaks up. Is this Tail? I ask. Pay attention. I can't remember you. I can't remember anything. How I got here. What am I supposed to do? I can't help sounding a bit panicked. I'm flustered. Blake, they poisoned you. It's a neuroreactive chemical. It's produced by my mother's company, Clocko. It's called INT-23. I bet your head hurts like hell, and you're not going to remember shit for days. But you'll be okay as long as you don't OD. And try not to get shot again. That might be a good idea, too. How do I know you? I start to get a grip on myself as things are beginning to make sense again. But things are still not adding up right. You sprung me from the detention center. What the hell's going on? Blake, you're a member of an exclusive organization known as the Von Richten's Watchers Society. An underground union that monitors, polices, and the actions of plane shifters as well as studies the movements of immortals and the undead. I'm baffled. How would something like this happen to me? Where do you fit into this? I ask. Well, I got beaten with an inch of my life by your buddies. And you said that, like your boss, you wanted to have a pet freak. The memory is still fuzzy at best. But the subject seems touchy. I change it. Tail, what's our mission? Right! She must get into this. I think, as she goes on. GPS shows you on County Road UU. It is 35 miles to your goal, south by southwest. I look up. I'm in the middle of nowhere. And I'm wearing Italian boots. Not a good combo. Tail continues. After you arrive, simply go inside and do your voodoo on the place. Purify the hell out of it at all. Your ETA is 2300 hours and pickup is at 1300. I've never been good at the tech stuff. How long is that? 14 hours, boss. She explains to me. I hang up the phone, and I set my feet in motion. The scenery is familiar. I think I walked this road once before. I find it's not long before my coat is wrapped around my waist and my shirt around my head. I guess I should be happy there isn't sand in my boots. Thank Blake. What's going on? Von Richten. She tranquilized me after I met her monster. But was that the first time? I remember that I've drawn on this map. I'd been on my way to that address, hitchhiking, when a jag pulled up next to me. Von Richten was in the back seat. She asked if I was Christopher. Then she shot me. When I awoke, I was in her castle being branded. Then I had sex with her. No, that's not what happened. Is it? Tail. I went to see her in her cell. It was refrigerated. There was a wall of icy vapors behind the door. She had been stripped before being thrown in. The bed was made of steel, and she had only a hemp blanket. It was amongst the least humane things I'd ever seen. The man that imprisoned her, they were going out of their way to make things uncomfortable. I'd seen the inside of a county jail before. I knew those jailers at least offered heated rooms and decent bedding. I think I'm starting to see things clearly. I remember that Tail had looked up to see me observing her. She seemed to be quite the wisecracker. First thing she said after noticing me was, "If you're here for rape, believe it or not, you're the first in line. And I'm a virgin, so you don't have to worry about me gumming up the works." Much to my discontent. "I'm not here to rape you. I'm here to get you out," I had explained. "That is, unless you would like to get raped first." Then what? How did I get out? I don't think I did. I had attempted to break the security lock, but someone had interrupted me. England. Maybe it was right. Or what? It's hot as hell out here in the middle of nowhere. I've been struggling for 2, maybe 3 hours to recall what's been happening to me, with little progress. Well, nothing else. It has still given me something to think about, aside from how much pain I'm in. Wings. In my dream, Red Von Richten had wings. I've seen demon wings before, lots of them. Might Right be my first angel? She did say something about heaven and hell, after all. No, it's not right. I hate the road. I always have. But I have a job to do. I have a promise to keep to my brother, to Von Richten, to Tail. I made each of them a promise. I promised to fight, to protect, to kill. The smell of death is so fresh in my mind. I feel as if it's my fault. I know it wasn't my fangs that pierced his chest, but the way it plays out in my memories. Very well could have. In the end, I guess this is for the best. I have power, and this is the price. A job with benefits. They're just not me. After I'm done here, maybe I'll find a way back home. It's starting to get dark. I'm still a dozen or more miles from Nauvoo. I'll wipe the sweat from my face. The temperature is dropping fast at this rate. My sweat is going to freeze to my skin. But just now, I see headlights over my shoulder. Maybe I have a ride.